Okay, so this is Marcus with Mom and Pop, and we have another gem for you guys. And we have with us a four-time gold winning medalist in the swimming in the Special Olympics. And also now she's the author of her very own book. It's called Swimming Upstream to Realize the Dream. We got with us Ashton Smith. Nice to have you with us. So, of course, in the pool, you're a swimmer, right? But also in life, you're a swimmer as well. You've had
Yeah.
plenty of upstream battles from what I understand. So talk about what you've been through and how your early life was and how you got from then until now. So tell us about yourself. Where you want to start?
You know, to tell you a little bit of myself, my grandmother raised me. I'm from a small town in Ellis County. And from that town, I was able to join the YMCA. They taught me how to swim first. And of course, the Special Olympics came after that, as far as, some dry land stuff that I did with them when I was a kid, track and field, those kinds of things, field day. And then from there, from the small town in Ellis County, ended up moving from that small town to Fort Worth to just seek a better life and opportunity and more exposure. And I think that's been a big plus for me. If my grandmother hadn't have said yes, a lot of stuff I wouldn't have been able to do. So I'm grateful, and I saw a flyer about the Special Olympics. I took it, I grabbed it and showed whoever was in authority and off to the races with that. But yeah, being raised by my grandmother is a big deal. And she taught me a lot. Of course, she's not with me anymore. Neither is my mother. She's deceased. She passed away last year. And I also lost my aunt on the 19th of this year. So it's a lot of things going on. And I'm just asking for people's prayers and that there's hope in my life. But absolutely, I've always done well in my life, and being able to know that my grandmother and others are with me, and anybody else that I've lost in my family, cousins and whatnot. So, it's a big deal to try to press forward even in my life, regardless of all of the circumstances. I try to make the best of a bad situation. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I feel you on that. My grandmother, I love her too. It's actually a special bond that you have with your grandma to have her raise you. I'm sure you definitely have, benefited from that. Was grandma an athlete? Where'd you get your athletic? Were the parents? Where'd you get that from?
My grandmother, she was pretty physically strong. I don't remember her talking about doing track and field. I know my mom did.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know much about my father, but I know my mom was very athletic, and probably my dad was too. Looking by the way I'm built, right? So so muscular stuff maybe will come from my dad, But I will say this: is athletics runs in my family. My brother's very athletic. My sister was very athletic in school and things like that. So, athletics is something that's a big deal in my family. Now, swimming, I'm the only one in my family that can swim, but and I do it well. So I'm really excited to continue to do everything I can to this day to project my life and tell the public what I need and why swimming and all those things was important even in my childhood. Because like I said before, I didn't want to be a statistic, and I think swimming is the perfect sport that you're not a statistic. You're out here doing the things that you need to do to make it. And swimming is one of those things that it builds a lot of confidence in you also. Absolutely.
Oh, great. That was my next question. What drew you to swimming? You kind of touched on it a little bit. So open up about that more. Who was the first person that said, hey, did you pick it yourself? Did someone suggest it to you? How did you get yourself in the pool and go from there?
Well, like I said, the YMCA, of course, my grandmother, said yes, but, pretty much after my grandmother saying yes and giving, written permission, then it was off to the races at the YMCA. They taught me what I needed to know, and just not seeing very many people of color in the sport or people like me in it. That's another reason that drew me to it, that, hey, we can do this too. Excuse me.
Okay.
And we have been able to do this. And African Americans, for some reason, have been told that they can't do it because of resources or because Black people don't do this. I've heard all kinds of stuff, to make your skin darker, all this other stuff. Being out in the sun anyway, can do that to your skin. That's why white people kind of get a little darker, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad thing, man. I think, having dark skin is not a bad thing, and just be yourself. And, in swimming, I dealt with a lot, but I was able to overcome all that too. With great vigor and understanding, I was able to overcome every single thing. Absolutely.
And that's why you probably chose the title Swimming Upstream. You probably felt like or you just had things against you just from the get go, but you had to overcome that. So aside from race, were there any other challenges you had going into that world of swimming or athletics?
Well, my disability, visual challenges, financial challenges, especially, and then even being in the Special Olympics as a young person, you don't get financial assistance, help, or nothing from their program that they claim. And I know I've been struggling, and my family has paid for different items and equipment. And my grandmother gave me cash money in my hand to buy stuff because the Special Olympics wouldn't do it. When I would go on field trips, my grandmother would give me money, right? So I could have a lunch or whatever on the trip with the Special Olympics or whatever. So it's a big deal, for me. And I just want people to understand that you have to work 10 times as harder. It seems like when you're a woman like me, when you're disabled or visually impaired, in my case, visually impaired. So for me, having a disability was something I wanted to prove that I could do things like anybody else. And I have, and I even tried out for a women's football team. I know I would have, certainly made that team, but I had some things come up in my life. My aunt died and a bunch of other things. And then, so, that's some very serious things. And so you have to focus. I just had a lot going on in the background that people didn't know. And I didn't tell them about my aunt or other people having health problems. So, I think for me, I know that the team certainly rooted for me and wanted me to participate. So, and I have, the team has been really nice to me, and I'm grateful to have done that and tried out. But I can do anything that I put my mind to, and I've never let my disability or somebody tell me I can't. I think that's the biggest thing, correct?
Oh, that's a wonderful way to think. You're focusing on, you know what? I can do what I put my mind to, and don't tell me I can't do it. That's a great way to have that attitude. So
I
we're
mean,
going
I've
to
had
get
people
to,
tell me not to have businesses. In the Special Olympics, you're told not to have businesses. You can't be married. All this other stuff, whether it's written in the policies or their agreements or not, they just tell you anything. Or you don't have the right to do certain things. And you do have the right to live and eat and have a place to stay and not be homeless either, right? Those are things that I had to put up with while being an athlete. But I know that God has one foot in front of the other, and things will be accomplished. Like I say, I will sign with the management company or sports agency or things like that. Absolutely. Go ahead.
oh, yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, I definitely want to get into, your experience with the Special Olympics and the behind the scenes, but talk about the challenges. Of course, swimming isn't easy already. So I'm sure with your disability, it's even, more challenging. So what do you have to
It's
face
daunting.
that maybe others don't have to face, that maybe they don't know the challenge that you have to go through as a swimmer with visually impaired as well?
Just in life, I have to use a machine called an OR cam to read. Thank God for tablets because Bibles can be screen read and you can have your earbuds in. And that's why I like this day and age because you can have earbuds in and you're not disturbing nobody or, so this day and age and technology has been a big help. The Talking Book Library of Texas, shout out to that organization, hooray, because they offer books and programs across Texas for people with disabilities, Audible to read for free. Right. So that's a big deal. Excuse me.
Okay. Oh,
You
yeah.
shouldn't have to you shouldn't have to feel inadequate because you're not able to read a book. If you can understand the knowledge that's given to you, whether it's verbally, whether you can read it or whatever, all I tell people is just give people an opportunity. And too many times with people with disabilities, we're not given the same opportunities. We're not given a chance of employment and all kinds of stuff in society, which we should be integrated into society, just like everybody else, and a chance to have gainful employment that's actually going to provide a living for us. And I was always told I would never be able to do public speaking or those kinds of things. That's not true either. And I think I'll be well on my way to be able to do that kind of stuff.
You speak great right now. So I think you already seem like you're great at that anyway. So, hey, another thing proven wrong, right?
Amen. I speak real good, and you wouldn't have known that before I had a speech problem. So a lot
I
of
would
people
never
really
have known that. Yeah.
don't.
So
You wouldn't know.
yeah, I'm just curious. So of course, to adjust to, I guess, reading like, the depth as you're kind of lapsed, did somebody teach you, or did you just have to figure out on your own how to kind of, manage your disability and be a swimmer at the same time?
Prescriptions change that, man. I mean, the technology and lenses like Oakley, shout out to that company. they make really good glasses, and you know, they cost about $600. But when you're talking about a prescription, there's nothing that you should look over when it comes to having a prescription, when it comes to cost, because you're not trying to go cheap when it comes to eyewear, because you can kill somebody. You're driving a vehicle, whatever. You have to have the best that you can, you know, whatever you get your hands on. And
Right.
Oakley has been that company for me as far as my lenses, and they're real clear and stuff like that. And that's what I like about Oakley.
Okay, Oakley, shout out to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I can see it's like you're not dealing with this cheap stuff from Medicaid or things that aren't, you know, you're wanting to drive and be a part of society and having good technology and a good opportunity. It also allows you to not be a bum in society, right? It allows you to go out here and provide for yourself, have a stable job. You know, you don't want to live on disability for the rest of your life. And that's what the Special Olympics was going to essentially reject me to, was abject poverty for the rest of my life. And that's not the case, and that's not what I want to be. You know what I mean? I want to be able to uplift myself with whatever technology is available and out there for me to use, and help me integrate into society to make money.
Right. So let's talk about your successes in the Special Olympics. So I saw on your Instagram you're a four-time gold medalist. Wow. So that when you got that first medal, walk me through how that made you feel. Like, was that like, okay, I've made it, I've done it? That first, you remember that feeling when you got your first gold?
I do remember that first feeling, but I do want to tell you before that some
Yeah.
experiences that I
Uh-huh.
went through with my person, even being in the program.
Yeah, of
Guys,
course.
I
Yeah.
want y'all to Google Special Olympics Texas Confederate flag, right? I dealt with utter racism in that program. And it was supported because the program did nothing about it. And people will ask, why was I gone? I think the audience needs to know. I was kicked out the program for essentially going to the police and letting the police know that I dealt with straight up abuse. You know what I'm saying? In the program, I've dealt with, you know, people putting their hands on me and all kinds of other stuff. And when I spoke up about it, I was essentially told to never go back, never come back while dealing with racism, right? But then they say in the Dallas Observer, when you Google that, oh, I'm a great athlete. Well, it's two-sided. You can't say on one hand that I'm a great athlete and I mean all this to your program, but then on the other hand, when I go to authorities, my life's threatened, or you don't like me, or whatever. So for me, I've always stood up for my rights as a person, and I'll never let any program tell me that they own me, that I'm the property of a corporation. And that's how Special Olympics treats it. Not just me. It's not just me, a me problem. I'm the one that can speak out, but most of these athletes cannot speak about the stuff that we talk about today on this podcast or broadcast, however you want to say it. Being a modern day slave to modern day is not okay. And Special Olympics does not treat us with dignity. They treat us more like property. Okay. And so when you know these things, the public has to stand up and know that the money that they give to the Special Olympics, it doesn't go to help us. It goes to enrich the pockets of the CEOs. This is my experience and what I've seen, because I went to their meetings and I saw those pie charts and they thought I was cuckoo, right? And no, I know enough stuff to go to a judge, go to a lawyer. No, because they thought I was not smart enough to comprehend what was going on in the meetings. I knew. And I feel like now it's time for me to tell my story, because all my life I was swimming upstream to realize a fake dream. That's why I named that book that, because it was a fake dream. And I was left selling my awards on the side of a road while being an athlete in a program that promised me the world but gave me nothing. These are the things that the public needs to know so that they never ever donate, give, such as the NFL, Amazon, Walmart, participating sponsors, Jimmy John's. I've looked up a lot of their sponsors, the Boys and Girls Club of America, a bunch of other places. Give to these programs, MHMR and such. Give to these programs, to the Special Olympics, believing that they're helping us, but every dime that they give enslaves us. You're not allowed to own real estate or be married in their program. This is the experience of what I have been through as an athlete. I've been in their program for 31 years and they've been in business for 50 years. Special Olympics may kick me out of a program, but they can't take away the knowledge that I know for 30 years. They can't take away the fact that they've never given my family or me any type of financial assistance, help, stipends of any kind. And I say that You know what I'm saying? Like it's a courtroom under oath. I've never gotten help under no circumstances from the Special Olympics at all. And anybody can Google my story. Google Ashton Smith NBC5, Google Ashton Smith Special Olympics, and you'll find out more about my story. I think the public really needs to know this type of stuff, that they know where their money is going and where it's not going, right? Where is your money going and where is it not going? It's not going to help athletes like me. I was forced, watch this, to pay for food, hotels, and transportation out of my pocket while they gave me nothing. I'm going to say that one more time. I was forced to pay for food, transportation, and hotels out of my pocket while I got nothing, and use whatever checks I had. So if you got disability, which is illegal and should be, the Special Olympics makes these athletes take their disability check every month to pay for stuff in the Special Olympics that participate in it. And I think that's wrong, that a person is using their disability check that they get every month to survive to give to the Special Olympics to pay for stuff. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. No, I've never heard of that. But so you have that inside view to see,
right,
these things so yourself, and you're speaking out on them now. So this is your platform. You're able to talk about what you have personally gone through. So my question was, at a young age, you saw Special Olympics. You probably had, like you mentioned, it was your dream. You wanted to have it. And then you got there and realized, I didn't really want this. And so I'm sure that must have hurt, and you had to rebound. But look at yourself now. So what have you latched onto now? What would you say is your true dream that you're striving for at this moment?
Now, man, it's about getting the website, highlight reel, and press kit. Once I get that stuff together, then I will be able to do public speaking. All I need right now is my highlight reel, right? And once I get that done, then I'm going to be speaking, right? Because that is what is required to be a public speaker. That is what I want to do with my life. I want to publicly tell my story. I've done radio work for the Special Olympics, TV interviews, magazines, and photo shoots for them. And I've never gotten a dime from any work or anything that I put in for the years and hours that I gave my life to a program that didn't give me anything. And I say that with a fact. And, I'm 38 years old, right? I'm almost 40 years old. And what does that mean? The Bible says that you're the age of 12. What does 12 mean? That means that you are at the age that you know right from wrong, right? But I'm also at the age 38 that I'm also at the age that I shall get paid for what I do type age. I'm not a kid. I'm not a child. I don't have a mother and a father because they're deceased. So yeah, the Special Olympics owes me like a reparations. I don't have a, what do they call those agreements? Not a prenup, but a conservatorship, right? I don't have a conservatorship with the Special Olympics. I don't have any binding document saying that y'all own me like that. I told them, if you can find where I signed a conservatorship document, I certainly would like to see that. Because then the conservatorship also means that you got money and you're paying me something. I ain't getting anything from y'all also. I've never signed any or an NDA. There's two documents that I looked up, a conservatorship and an NDA. I don't have any of those two documents signed by me. So that means that I'm not owned by them. And this is smart. Why? Because they didn't think I knew what those documents meant. They didn't know that they didn't realize that I knew what an NDA is. And you know what I mean? And I know what a conservatorship is. They thought I was crazy up here in the mind. When I went to those meetings, I didn't just sit there. I took in information, right, about who made a lot of money, the CEOs and stuff. The CEOs get paid 6 figures. How do I know that? You know that by going to meetings and stuff. And I know that I never got anything. And so what I tell people is, that you walk around with a grudge? No, but you walk around and tell the truth. You don't have to walk around and be angry, right? Like, I'm not angry at those who participate in the Special Olympics. Absolutely not. But I'm angry at those in power who run it, right? See how you can differentiate the two? Not angry at the people who participate in it. I'm angry at those who are in power and run it the way that they do. And that is why I try to use my voice to speak out about this stuff, because I believe that God put me here for a reason, to open my mouth, which I can, and articulate plainly and well, right? Because letting the Special Olympics know what they did is wrong, to exploit people. And there's a second word that I studied, coercion. All of those things highlight the Special Olympics and what they do behind the scenes with their money. Is it a good organization and all that kind of stuff? Some people can say yes, but when you find out that they make $155 million estimated, and I keenly say the word estimated, right? Because that can fluctuate. But $155 million supposedly U.S. based. Globally, it's more. But right now in the U.S., that's the kind of money that they're bringing home, while we get nothing as athletes, and we're made to work 18-hour days, 2 8-hour days. And what I mean by that is you may be working for them for 8 hours, and then you got to turn around and go to a job, or whatever. So, or you may work for them for literally hours on end. Cause I would go to meets and stuff. I'd have to be there at 5 a.m. and wouldn't get out of there until 6 o'clock at night or later. So,
a lot of time and devotion, right?
Yeah. And Special Olympics never looked at the training and devotion that I had to put in to achieve what I needed to achieve. So being a 4-time gold medalist a lot of times doesn't mean anything when you're not financially reaping the rewards from it. And I'm proud of what I did. Don't get it twisted. I'm proud. Right. But I would be even happier if I was compensated financially for the efforts I put in and recognized for what I did to make the program ultra rich. I was on ESPN, man, and Swim Magazine.
Oh, wow. Ahead. Yeah. I was saying, thinking about your book, Swimming Upstream, you keep on, I sense your passion. You definitely have that passion and you have the inside story. So I'm sure as you, branch out into doing podcasts, broadcasts, radios, public events, and that's your dream now, is just educating people. So I have a question for you. If you could go back in time and you could talk to the young Ashton, what would you tell her? Hey, you need to work on this because you're going to need it later on. What would you try to inspire in your younger self?
If I, at the age of 18, had I known what I knew today, I would have set up a trust and legal bonding documents. That's what I would have done for myself, especially with the NIL laws and the way you can make money off your image and likeness and all of that. That is another thing that's going to be my saving grace. And that's what I would have taught my younger self, is to fortify my life to make sure that nobody can ever use me or exploit me through photograph, video, footage, newspapers, or any type of advertisement in any way, shape, or form. So I think for me, I also would have told my younger self is I would have found something else to do with my life instead of doing the Special Olympics. Do I regret doing the Special Olympics after how I've been treated? You betcha I have. Do I regret winning the medals? No, I don't, because that was something I accomplished with my sweat and my blood and training. But I regret doing it for the Special Olympics. I would never do the Special Olympics.
I understand that.
Ever again, until it changes. It has to change. So if it changed, I would then come back under the auspices of it changing. But if it's the way that it is today, I'm never wanting to come back. No.
Yeah. No. You think about, I think your position is almost like that of other athletes in other sports.
College. Look at the college athletes who didn't get paid for
college athletes. They have a hard time when it comes to their name, image, and likeness. And I'm thinking even, like Hank Aaron and Bill Russell in the NBA, when they went through it, it wasn't easy for them, but then, they made it easier for the next ones coming up. And now it's a totally different landscape. So I'm sure you probably envision, your goal is probably to have it still be an event because people need to have that outlet. But of course, you're probably hoping
that through your
story.
Yeah, my goal is to monetize my entire life and story. I can't play sports forever. I'm almost 40 years old. It's, I'm trying to give it a push to get into more sports. And I plan on doing some stuff this year. The weather's got to be better. I mean, we've dealt with ice and rain and lightning.
Well, hey, what do you have planned this year? What you got coming up in the sports? You doing some new things?
I hope to get involved with hopefully flag football. Or
okay. That's fun.
Come up. I hope to work on getting recordings and stuff done now that the studios obviously are back open. They weren't open last year.
Oh, you're doing music too. Oh, okay. Talk about some of your, so we know you're a swimmer. We talked about that. What else are you into in your free time?
Well, not music. I'm getting ready to do the recordings for the public speaking so I can
yeah.
And I need a quiet place to do that.
Yep.
You got dogs and stuff barking, but over there it's really quiet. And I plan on, just getting in shape and swimming more this year outside. They have a multi-million-dollar pool over at the YMCA. So come the summer, I'm gonna go on up there and go enjoy myself.
Yeah. Do you ever like challenge some of the younger ones at the pool? Hey, I can swim faster than you can. You ever like try to race them or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I've actually raced adults. I've raced adults. Some adults have put money on it and stuff, and they've
Oh
lost
yeah.
really bad. Yep.
You still got
They,
it, huh?
yeah, they get in there. They think they can beat me swimming.
Like, hey,
These
wait,
big old
you got an
guys.
Olympian. They're not going to be an Olympian. Come on now.
These guys, these big old weightlifters, they get in there. I got muscles, and they can't. I mean, they, you know, the first lap, I'm not gonna lie, they right up on me. But then when I start to turn over, my turnover is much quicker than their turnover. You know what I mean? They at
Nice. You
first,
catch them there, huh?
yeah, it's like the people who sprint. You may be able to beat me, but then when I start closing the distance on long distance, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So and
Nice.
they're so I may not be the fastest sprinter, but that distance type stuff, I'll close on you. But yeah, I'm
Awesome.
excited and I feel good physically, and look good. I'm strong physically and I'm proud of it. Special Olympics,
Yeah.
the coaches and all of that kind of stuff, a lot of them who know me told me to keep my head up and stuff during this process. So that's what I'm doing. And God is going to put me in positions to be able to light the fire in the night. And that's how I feel that I keep the lights on for people who feel hopeless in their lives. And may my life be a beacon of hope to people who want to feel uplifted. And I hope that my life lands an example of hope and that you can achieve anything you put your mind to, regardless of your disability, zip code, or circumstances, right? So I hope that speaking today to the audience of people who listen to this, that you go Google Ashton Smith Special Olympics. You go and search me on social media, Golden Ashton. You'll see that when you type that in on Instagram, on Facebook, you'll see that when you type that in, folks. So I really appreciate being here. The disclaimer today also that I would like to say is this. The words that I have said today are my statements only. The statements that I have said today are not those of the podcast or radio, TV station, or etc. My statements are only for me. I am excited to say these statements, and I believe the statements that I have said are true and true to my statements and how I feel. You have the right to this truth because we live in America, a country that has the right to say what you want, but with the truth. And I feel today, by me explaining, by not getting paid, this is the truth. I don't make a dollar and I don't make a dime. Hope that makes sense.
Yep.
You like
Hey,
that disclaimer?
not yet. Hopefully, as you go, you'll get your compensation, right? You just stick with what you got,
Absolutely.
and that's the plan, right? But thanks for that disclaimer. We appreciate that. Just a few
Absolutely.
questions in clothing. So, unfortunately, you mentioned that you've lost some close members of your family, but who do you have in your support? Who's on your team, right? And now that helps you kind of get through what you're going through.
Shout out to Broadway Baptist Church. They have helped me. My brother has talked to me, and stuff. My brother actually was the only one that wished me a happy birthday. My one of my aunts wished me a happy birthday, and so my family, a lot of them have helped me, and just leaning on these two churches has really been a help. Mercy Culture has been a big help. They've offered counseling to me for free. They have people after church that you can walk up to and talk to. You don't have to hand them money to talk to them. Like some of these places, man. I told this lady, she's claimed to be a psychic. I said, hey, why do I have to pay you? To pray for me or whatever. I didn't understand it. I said, hey, that don't make no sense. I said, I gotta pay you to pray for me. Do you realize? I said, I'm done trying to go to these people that have these balls sitting on tables and they call them tarot card readers. I said, man, this is stupid. I gotta pay you for a prayer. This is crazy. You go to a church, yeah, they have an offering plate or something like that, but they're not telling you, hey, pay me and then I'll pray for you. What church? Man, ain't nobody telling you to come down. Man, I went off on that person. I said,
Oh, you've seen it all, Ashton, haven't you? You've been there. You've seen it. You've seen it all.
Man, and they were not. And they were like, well, this isn't a church. I said, yeah, I see a tarot card reader. That's exactly what they were. I said, wow, bro, y'all got people paying for prayers out here. And they're not even a prayer from God. It was probably a prayer from Bel. Baal. The Bible talks about Baal. Don't you know who Baal is? Don't you?
All right. Right. Mm.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
hey, you found your support. I'm glad that you found people that
I did
that
find.
are on your team. Your brother. You mentioned your family. You got your church.
I
So
did.
you got your foundation, and that's going to help you moving forward. So yeah,
You
stick
don't
with the
want
ones
a
that you
Baal
love.
foundation. Yeah, you don't want a Baal foundation. You want a
Now you
solid
want that
foundation.
family, that loving
Yeah,
bond. Absolutely.
yeah. You don't want
This,
people saying, "Pay me for a prayer."
oh yeah. I got a couple more questions. So
Yeah.
just fun questions. So
Yeah.
all right. If you could choose a dinner meal, and you could pick 5 guests, dead or alive, who would you invite? And then your last question, uh, what do you watch or what do you listen to? What do you play? What do you do for fun? So those final two, that'll close
My
us out.
my dinner meal, shrimp and steak. I like to have, really hearty.
Oh, there you go. That's Texas right
Yeah.
there, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's Texas or where it's
Oh,
from.
okay.
All I know,
So that
man,
is
is
good.
all I know is it's good and it fills you up. And that's the
Yeah.
thing about Texas, maybe, is that we will make meals that fill you up. If you walk away from Texas hungry, that is your fault.
I
That
hear
means,
that.
you know what I'm saying? Because they fill you up over here. So you are right. So steak, or you know what I mean, or chicken fried steak, something that's gonna fill you up. Last meal. Who would it be invited? Of
Oh
course,
yeah.
my grandmother.
Gotta have grandma. I knew it. I knew it. Gotta have grandma there. Absolutely.
My
Well,
mother. You know what I'm saying? My mother, mentors and friends. So yeah, I mean, certainly got to have your family. Absolutely.
yeah, make it a family meal. Just make it a family
And,
meal, and then you're good to
and
go
God,
there, right?
man, you gotta have God. You gotta have God sitting at that
Oh
table,
yeah,
or
of
Jesus, or whatever
course.
you believe in. So fill in the blank in whatever you choose to believe in, folks. But absolutely, you gotta have a solid foundation and a table around you. What I like to do for fun, I like to play video games.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I like Madden. I like 2K sports video games, all that stuff. Swimming, I do that for fun. I feel like that's fun. Basketball, I like playing sports and being very rugged. I like masculine things, even though most women, this is the South, so I got to watch what I say. Most women don't find that being masculine is good, but I find that being masculine is the best thing ever because you don't got people running over you and talking crazy to you. And in Texas, being rugged's a good thing, right? It's a good thing, right?
A
People
defense
leave you
mechanism,
alone.
right?
Repeat that again.
It's a defense mechanism, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Dallas Fort Worth, man. People get snatched out here. Okay. You
You
better,
gotta
better
watch
not
yourself now. Yeah,
You better
I
not walk
hear it.
around thinking you finna look cute out here. You'll be up on 24 hours, up on the news, 48-hour news. You seen that little
Mhm.
van go by and say 48 hours. That's
Oh
news.
yeah, I want to be on that channel.
You don't want to be on that channel,
So
okay?
since you like
So
sports, I got one last question
I
for you.
do like sports, yes. And
So
football, NFL.
you must have watched Super Bowl, right? So that
Yeah.
last call
Wow.
on the Eagles, was that fair or foul?
Oh man.
Controversial, right?
Uh, you know, yeah, a hold is a hold. And even the guy admitted afterward
He said
that
he held the guy. That's what he
he
said.
said he held the
That's what he
guy.
said. You know.
Yeah, so I think that, a hold is a hold, but a lot of people in the public said that they didn't call this stuff all game.
See, that's true as well.
And that's
That's
the
true as well.
problem that a lot of people have with that particular moment. Within that particular moment, a lot of the public said they should have let it fly. Others said they should have called it. It's still to this day a tough toss up. But he
Yeah.
admitted to the hold. And I've played football, and yeah, they're gonna call that when you turn a guy, obviously. And in that
Yep.
moment, no one wants a call, but the referees are not there to gauge what the public thinks because they can lose their
Yeah.
jobs trying to
Yeah.
wager with the public. That ain't what the
That's
referees
true.
are there to do.
Yeah. That's true.
You're there to have a non-judgment system, and if your system is, let's be real now. I
Yeah.
told a guy sitting in here, I said, if your system is wagered on what the public, you know what I'm saying? This has happened in history in various sports where the referees have been swayed by crowds, even in soccer. In some countries, they've gotten death threats upon their lives, referees. So, because soccer is so serious, you've seen it in some countries, it looks like a prison. on
Oh
the
yeah,
field.
that's soccer.
So
They go crazy for that.
they go crazy. So the thing is that you have to have an insulated system where, and now in soccer it's totally different, where they make some of these most serious calls off the field for safety reasons. But the thing is that you cannot have a crowd dictating what calls should be made in games of the Super Bowl or anything like that. The referees, I think,
Yeah.
did marvelous by making that call. But should they have made it? Probably not.
Okay, well, Ashton, I figured you had a good take on that Super Bowl game. It was a good game, so I just wanted to get your take on that. All right.
My
Well, yeah.
Yeah, my take on that, like I said before, just the call. If you're a football player on the field, you have to obviously make that call. Because what if they did make that call? Then the other team, you have to look at it from what I call a window perspective, and that just means that you have to be impartial in the call that you make that dictates an outcome. You really have to, man. You can't be out here making calls based on the public or what someone feels or how they, none of that. So I'm excited, man, for this year. Now that 2023 is here, I am grateful and thankful and praying for all of those who are going through things in their lives, and may they be uplifted and stuff like that. And we get out of here and have some great fun. The weather is going to be hairy tomorrow, so if you are out tomorrow, just be careful. We're going to be in severe storms tomorrow. But other than that, get on out and have some fun and do something indoors. Of course, all of those venues will be open. But I'm excited, man. I feel good. I'm a 4-time gold medalist. Tell your audience to go look me up on social media. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all of your favorite social media under Golden Ashton, or on my regular Facebook, Ashton Smith, and you'll find me. I appreciate being here, and I'm glad to be here, man.
You
I had a great
appreciate you.
time.
Thank you. I had
And
a
this
great
will
time
be
as
out
well.
when?
Yep.
And what day will this be published out once you get it all edited and all that good
So
stuff?
once we get it all out, we normally post on Sundays. And so
Oh,
we'll let you know ahead of time, hey, we're going to put you up there tomorrow, and then you can be aware. We'll give you the links as well to post on your Instagram, and you can put the links
right.
out on your stuff as well. So, well, Ashton, we
And
loved
I'll
having
be in
you.
church.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that's great. So while I'm in church, that can be, when I come home, it'll be ready to share, and I'll be able to share it and get it out on Monday's
Yeah.
share. Absolutely.
Yeah. That'll work. That'll work.
I'm
Well, that's
excited.
Ashton Smith, everybody. You see her story. Check out her book. What's your book's name again?
My book up here, Swimming Upstream to Realize the Dream. This book can be bought at Walmart online and Amazon online. You can get the paper copy for $15, and you can also get the ebook. I guess that's what we're gonna call it, a ebook, for $2.99. So I appreciate everybody, and may God be with you, and may God bless y'all, man, and enjoy this beautiful weather. I appreciate y'all. Get my book today.
All
Appreciate you.
right. Thanks, Ashton, so much. And that's our gem of the week, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time. All
Thank
right.
you.